Folks, a very good morning to each and every one of you, wherever you're joining us from at home in Guyana or you're in the diaspora somewhere watching us. A very good morning to each and every one of you. It's another week, folks. It's the 26th, believe it or not. I think it's official payday, 26th day of June already. 4 days left in the month. Believe it or not, 4 days left in the month. And I should know because my birthday comes up on the 30th, the last day of the month. And folks, we keep encouraging you guys as you come out to share the live, to smash that emoji button, to partner with us. And this month as well, we say, happy birthdays are nice. But if you send us, you partner with us, you contribute to our program financially to help us to keep going, it's even more worth the while because we want to keep producing valid and credible information to you folks out there. And we're just simply delighted to have you all on this morning. John Jones is here with us and Marlene Griffith. John, a very good morning, guys. Share the live. We're endeavoring to do the same at our end as well. Smash that emoji button wherever you folks are joining us from this morning. Annalisa, we see you there. Deborah, we see you as well. And all the other guys who are joining us. Wherever you're joining us from, what's the weather like where you are? It's a lot of rain at our end. We're in that May-June period, thankfully, hopefully coming to the end of it. The May-June period, how is the weather where you folks are? I know it's probably very cold where some of you are joining us from. So y'all are saying, don't complain about this little rain. We'd be happy for the little rain as against the cold. And folks, we're so sorry. Make the best of it. Make the best of it. If you're in such conditions, we encourage you folks to make the best of it. Wherever you're coming in from this morning, Marjorie Griffith, Gil Ali Cock, New Jersey's in the house. Rena Cummins, Rena, good morning. Rena had a fantastic event on yesterday there in Bagotstown. I was one of those persons who I was asked to offer some comments, and we had other great speakers as well. I was with Nima Frubess and Christopher Jones and the counselor for that area, and the other guys who are on the ground there, all organized by Rena and team. Good going, guys. Good going, and we got to do more of those events. Corinne Archer King is joining us from Turks and Caicos, from the Turks and Caicos Islands. Good morning, Corinne. Corinne Archer King is with us, and wherever you other folks are coming in from this morning, a good morning, Corinne. Turks and Caicos folks, international program. That's what we said. International morning program. Thanks to you guys. You join us from all over the world, and we're privileged by that. We encourage you now to share the live. Bellamona, Suzanne Jacobs. I see Ingrid is here. Ingrid Ambrose. Yvette Juna is with us as well. Smash that emoji button wherever you're joining us from, folks. Wherever you're joining us from, do us that great privilege. Share the live. Smash that emoji button, guys, so that we can keep on. We can keep on keeping on. Good to have each and every one of you wherever you're joining us from. Again, it's a distinct privilege. Because Finel Innes, Lynn Finance is here. Good to have you, Lynn. We hope that all is well. I hope you're getting back to 100% after, again, all of us losing a leader much too soon. Paulette Niles is just, again, reinforces how fragile life is. How fragile life really is. Paulette Niles, good to see you. Heaven Faith, good to see you as well. And all the other folks joining us. I see Pamela Fontenelle is here. Good to have you, Pamela. Guys, we're so happy. So happy that you folks are joining us from the various places that you're joining us from. Heaven Faith, we see you. Yolanda Thomas, we see you. David Wood is here as well. Melissa Monroe is here as well. Great to see you guys. We got a lot of to talk about this morning. Evelina, good to see you. Evelina Whitaker, good to see you. Good to see you, Heaven Faith. Patrick Knights, good to see you as well. Marlene Kamini Van Veen. Marlene, how are you doing? Marlene is in Canada, right? If so, we hope all is well at that end. Ronaldo Catsias, good to have you. Sorry, Ronaldo Bacchus. I'm inventing names now. Ronaldo Bacchus, good to have you. Chanel and Diane Fordyce. Mario, good to have you. Mario Watson, Montague, good to have you, Mario. Good to have you, Volme, and Heaven Faith, good to have you as well. Yolanda, thanks for your contribution. Goes a far way. Guys, we want to continue as far as possible producing valid and credible information. I want to say thanks to all of those persons who contribute to our program that helps us to keep going. This is how we do it, folks. And we can continue to bring you guys valuable, incredible information. Sasha Trim, good to see you, Sasha, and the other guys who are joining us. We got a lot to cover, folks, in the morning papers today. A lot to cover in the morning papers, but we hope that you guys are great. We hope that you're well. Dolly is here, Dolly Anderson. I'm going to have you, Dolly, and Valme. I see Erwin Don is here, Erwin Don Cook. Region 3 is in the house. Good to have you, Erwin, and all the other folks. Again, Yolanda, Marlon, thank you very much for that contribution to our program. Marlon Thomas. Good to have you, Sasha Trim and Florette Jacobs Ward. All the other guys joining us. We trust that you guys are good. We trust that you guys are well. We trust that you guys are well. It's a rainy Monday at our end. A very, very rainy Monday. A very, very rainy Monday, folks. It's cats and dogs, as they say. Cats and dogs at our end. And this is the national capital city of Georgetown in Guyana, where we're broadcasting live from. Where we are broadcasting live from. How is the weather where you guys are? What's for breakfast? A strong cup of black coffee. That's how we start in the morning off at this end. And we really hope and trust that you guys are great. Another week, you hit the ground running. This week, folks, a little closer to accomplishing some of your dreams, your goals, your aspirations. They tell us it's 29 degrees outside, weather.com, that is. 29 degrees outside, but it feels like 31. And they're telling us there's a 24% chance it's going to rain. It is raining, in fact, and indeed. Morning forecast, 27 degrees. I was giving you afternoon there. 27 degrees outside currently, feels like 31, and they're telling us 76% chance of rain. It is raining. So you see, weather.com is on point. Weather.com is on point. 76% chance is going to rain. It's currently raining, really heavy. And we see 27 degrees outside. It goes up into the afternoon. The percentage of rain lowers to 24, and the temperature goes up to 29 degrees. Yep. Looking forward to that. But welcoming the rain nonetheless. Yesterday was hot at this end. I was happy to be at a friend's wedding yesterday. Marlon, Darwin English, and his wife Delise is his wife Delise. They tied the knot yesterday afternoon, and we had a wonderful time with them. Young people, young Christian people, heading off in the right direction. And we were so happy to celebrate with them. It was really hot yesterday. That's how I know, because we were out most of the day outside. It was hot, dripping hot, sweat drip. Sweat drip hot. But it's 27 degrees outside this morning. Lots of rain at our end, and we hope that the weather improves at your end, wherever you're joining us from this morning. Wherever you folks are joining us from, we hope that the weather improves at your end. We got a lot we're tracking, folks, in the morning papers. Sean and Denise and Claire Capel, Orin Yorick. Good morning, Orin. How are you doing? Good to have you. Orin there, and Dolly Anderson says it's 72 degrees in Brooklyn. 72 degrees. Am I reading that right? Dolly. Yep, Dolly. Someone's telling us it's bright sunshine on the quarantine. Let me see. Yonetta says it's bright sunshine on the quarantine. Well, enjoy that, Yonetta. Enjoy that, because it's raining cats and dogs in Georgetown. I see we have Lois Charles Daniels says it's hot here in the UK. Well, hope it improves, guys. Hope it improves. Simone Adiola says that it's sunny in Kanji. Yep. Sunny in Kanji. Well, we're happy for y'all. We're very, very happy for you folks. Marlene says it's 71 degrees in Queens. Good. Nice weather. Folks, a couple of what we're following this morning. A couple of what we're following this morning in the morning papers. Again, we hope that you guys had a great weekend. Your week is off to a fantastic start. Had a good breakfast by now, or you're on your way to that. I know some folks take breakfast very late. We kind of in the middle. Late, early, whenever it come, be ready. So there's a couple of things we're following, folks, in the morning papers at this end. And I don't know why the folks in the diaspora love to know what's happening back home so much. I keep telling you all, the day, folks, the day I throw that brick behind me, that's it. The guy threw a stone behind me and said, you know, I in the diaspora now, living. That's it. I want to do nothing. I want nothing that happening. Right? And if I die in the diaspora, they will bring my body home. That's how I can forget these folks here. But while we're here, I know lots of you who are in the diaspora very interested to know what's happening back home at this end. And first up, folks, airfund plane. First up this morning. Airfund plane. So what we're focusing on this morning. Airfund plane. You know, they got this plane that they found. It was reported that it was carrying narcotics, and more than likely it was carrying cocaine. Somebody abandoned the plane, and now the GDF has refurbished it, and they said it's going to be used to transport the president, Irfan Ali, locally and regionally. This is the plane that they're going to be using. And like, I got something with this cocaine plane carrying anybody. I understand they're going to put it to good use and all of that. But like, I got something against a cocaine plane fetching people around. The Pearly says it's a rainy day in Canada. Thanks, Pearly, for that. It's a rainy day. Right? It's a rainy day in Canada. That's what Pearly saying. It's a rainy day in Canada, but it's a rainy day here as well. So we're in the same boat, Pearly. Make the best of it. And I see Lloyd saying, Shirley, you can't throw in the towel. No, I ain't throwing in the towel. Yet. I ain't throwing in the towel yet, folks. No, I'm just saying, though. If ever that time comes, and I say, well, I don't feel I have anything more to contribute at this point in time, and I beat out to the diaspora, that's it. I'm not looking back. I'm not interested in what's happening. That's all I'm saying. So I'm fascinated that you guys who in the diaspora especially, know so much happening back home, and always try to keep yourself up to speed. Folks like Marlene Thomas, some of you know what's happening back home before we do. Some of y'all probably know about this plane being converted to be used by the Ali government long before we did. So, they're telling us that the Guyana Defense Force personnel, they're going to be managing this aircraft that was found abandoned, suspected to have been carrying narcotics, cocaine in particular. And the folks say they're going to be using it now to ferry airfund around the regions, around Guyana, and around the region, the Caribbean region. Yep. Wish them the best on that. Wish them the best on that with the cocaine plane. I think this is the precursor of buying a jet, to be jet setters. They can say, the plane will walk in and, it has become so efficient for airfund to use, the plane and so on. And that's the precursor, right? To a fancier aircraft. Watch and see. Mark my words. They can say, the plane will walk in and, the engine power can't fetch airfund and all of that. And that's going to be the precursor, right, to a jet stream, or perhaps a 747. Don't put it past them. They're testing the waters here to see the public's reaction. That's what's happening here. Gisela Roman says, something stinks here. Something stinks here, right? Yolanda Thomas says, April wants to live like the Ayatollah. You're onto something there, Yolanda. You're onto something there. So the cocaine plane being put to use for the state. For the state. Maybe it's them boys' plane, from the inception. Maybe the plane wasn't abandoned, right? Maybe this is going to bring the plane through the back door. Somebody bring it and park it. You say it's cocaine and fetching, and this is how you can bring it in now. All right? We see y'all. Sean Judah, we see y'all. We see them. Right? We see them. Elizabeth Narai wants to know if it's the plane for the new president or if them things they're there for life. Right? The thing they're there for life. So this one of the things we're following with folks. One of the issues we're following. The cocaine plane. being put to state use. We wish them well with that. Magnell and Ravindra and all the other folks, Samantha, Yolanda, we wish the guys all the very best. And this front, we wish them the very best in this front. There's another story following. This is Danrat Street in Newtown, Kitty. Residents there are complaining of sloppy work, sloppy work by the contractors, right? But this is what happens when you give contracts and so on to friends, family, and favorites. Folks, I think we've shown you guys some of the information on contracts given out. People who've been traditionally involved in the business as listed by the procurement service here, the procurement commission. They're into food and hair and all manner of things. And those folks are being given contracts now to build roads. We understand why residents are complaining. Residents are complaining of sloppy contractual work. And today we saw some of that coming out of Danrat Street in Newtown, Kitty. Now, this is a complaint almost daily. Right? And one of the things that follows this, out front parts in Heaven and Faith, the Light One, Claudine and others, Bonita and Colette, one of the things that follows this is, whatever happened to the oil money? What the oil money doing? People want value for dollars spent. And I don't even want to say it's okay to give friends, family, and favorites. We must give the work to those people who are professionally qualified and who have the expertise and the competence to execute such work. And so again, Bishop Warner Jill, know you guys peeping here every now and again. People are complaining. Deal that in there. People are complaining the quality of work. The quality of work. When the Hudson, Danrat Street today, the quality of work. Friends, family, and favorite. People got a little knock up. Salon, nail tech, right? Party planners, social media commentators, don't matter. Friends, family, and favorites. And that's why we said, when you all see, you see, we getting on, right? And things looking up for us. Don't complain, don't fret, right? We have a right to. When you see things looking up for us, when you see we flying with aircraft and so on, and things looking up for us, don't complain. Dwayne Collins and Ravindra, Jamwant, don't complain, right? All right, don't complain. So that's another one of the issues we followed this morning. Bounty and Wenda, Jana and Dwayne, some of the issues we following this morning, folks. I want to say kudos to the folks at the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation. They said they have managed to successfully remove a spiral appendage. A rare spiral appendage was removed from a baby at the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation. They're telling us that neurosurgeons at the GPHC, the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation, on Sunday removed successfully a 10-day-old infant, from a 10-day-old infant, a tail. Right? A tail, this spiral appendage, a tail, described as a rare medical phenomenon, which was a continuation of the spinal nerve or spinal cord element, of course, outside of the body. So they've successfully managed to remove that. A medical team led by Chief Neurosurgeon Amarnath Dukhi successfully reconstructed the baby's spinal cord, which will allow for the child an opportunity to develop normally. It was a sophisticated technique which required the protection of the patient's spinal nerves. The infant was discharged from the hospital. So kudos there. A rare medical phenomenon, they says, and a rare occurrence, perhaps in the Georgetown Hospital Corporation, where we can say kudos to the folks down there. Kudos to that medical team, again led by Dr. Amarnath Dukhi. the neurosurgeon. Right, so congrats to the folks, the team down there in the Georgia Public Hospital Corporation. It's good, it's refreshing to have some positive news coming out from the institution. It's very good to have some positive news. So congrats to all the folks down there. Folks, don't feel bad to have to say congrats to people when they do well. You know, congrats. They do a lot of things wrong down there. So when we have a rare moment to say congrats, you know, this successful removal, reconstruction, what they call this rare phenomenon, this spiral appendage, he said, that was successfully removed. You know, we could say congrats, congrats, and give the folks there some flowers, you know, after a long time. Sylvie Allen, what do you say? Edward Brooms, what do you say? Brenda Oliver, what do you say? A rare moment indeed. Spinal appendage, you see. You know, we wish the parents, we wish the baby, the parents, and the entire family well moving forward. We wish them well. Well, the good news finished there. The good news apparently finished there because this is one of the things we're following, folks. This is one of the things we're following. This the carnage in our roads and our waterways, as we want to say, continues. It continues. They're telling us this very, very bad accident over the weekend. Apologies there. Very, very, very bad accident over the weekend. Again, one of the pandemics, we call it, where people lose their lives in such horrific fashion. For a small country, the road fatalities enormous. In this instance, they're telling us that Joshua Madilal, 33 years old, young man, was struck and killed by a speeding motor car on the East Bank on Saturday night. Yep. Our thoughts and prayers with the family of Joshua Mandalal. 2nd Street, number 2 Village, East Kanji, Region 6 is where he's from. And this accident would have happened at Little Diamond, New Access Road, right? Between Mucka and Diamond, the New Access Road there, struck and killed by a speeding motor car. Folks, we got to slow down. We got to slow down, on our thoughts and prayers again are with Joshua's family. Slow down. Slow down. Please, slow down. Together, let me arrive alive. Carnage continues. That being said, folks, a teenager lost his life. In addition to that, at Lima Sands, Region 2, over the weekend as well. This is on Sunday morning, they tell us. The teen is named Mario Adams. Mario lost his life when he lost control of the car he was driving and crashed into an electrical pole at Bushlot Public Road, Lima Sands, Region 2. That's what we're being told on that end. Again, this is Mario Adams. So again, the carnage. We just want to show one weekend and the road fatalities gone up. Small country, small population. You know, they tell us more people live in the diaspora than live in Guyana. They say about 800,000 Guyanese live in the diaspora. So a small population at home. But the road fatalities and so on, we got to enforce. You know, we got to get the proper legislation in place. We have some. Right? Then there must be enforcement, there must be education, and then enforcement. Good policy, educate people, and then you enforce the law rigidly. So in both instances there are thoughts and prayers again to Joshua Mandalal, and then we got Mario Adams, both of who lost their lives on the roadways in Guyana over the last weekend. And that's just some of what we're following at that end, folks. Just some of what we're following at that end. And of course, the ubiquitous issue of the Dharmalal rape scandal. Damning allegations were raised against the sitting Minister of Local Government and Regional Development, Nigel Darmlal, by a 16-year-old indigenous student. 16 years old. She said the event, the election happened last December. And of course, this is one of those things that have been sucking all the air out of the room, as they say. Ismailami, Leslie Thompson, sucking all of the air out of the room. We've seen it. And we've seen over the last week or so many attempts by the administration to kind of steer back the national discourse in a particular direction. But it's not happening. And this is particularly attributed to their own inaction on the issue, because people have pointed out at home and abroad. At home and abroad. How people, and you got public figures, members of government, who have been dismissed for less than this. For less than this. And over the weekend, we saw a number of folks coming out to say it is the PPP's inaction on this issue that is most distressing. Their inaction that is most distressing. And just last week, we heard from a senior counsel, Royce Ford, who is also the Shadow Minister of Legal Affairs, Shadow Attorney General as well, walking us through some of the issues that are at play here. Bring us up to speed with some of the issues that are in contention here. In the Darmlal rape scandal, damning allegations. Take a listen to some of what the senior counsel said.
Well, my expectations of the Guyana Police Force is that they would conduct a fair and proper investigation. We all live in Guyana. We know that at times the Guyana Police Force does not meet our expectations. I believe that this is a fitting case where the president must immediately institute an appointment by someone or a team of investigators who don't reside in Guyana. You could bring in the Scotland Yard or some proper agency that will conduct a fair investigation. The Guyanese people don't have any confidence that the Guyana Police Force will be able to conduct a fair investigation. We see up to now that the government itself has simply seemed to be responding to a request by Nigel Darmlal to proceed on administrative leave. We believe that this is a fitting case for Mr. Darmlal to have been dismissed at this point. This is not simply about this allegation. This is about a series of allegations going back over 10 years. This go towards his fitness and his appropriateness to hold public office. I believe also when we observe what has been happening in relation to this investigation, so far we see the government taking a position, the president in particular, taking a position that the young lady needed to first go and make a report. I believe that in the context of the document that came out, where the young lady purported to have signed, saying that it wasn't true, I believe that we see some sort of conspiracy to ensure that that matter comes to an end and it's ended at the police station. The Guyana Police Force and a senior officer would have facilitated and taken part in that process. So my personal concerns, the concerns of the citizens in relation to the role that the government is playing through the Commissioner of Police, through the Home Affairs Minister. This is a political office holder who exercises tremendous power, and the president should ensure that he distances himself and his government from it. I understand that right now, Barra Jabio is insisting that Darmlal stays, whilst on the other hand, the president seems more inclined to have him go. But we see what is happening. The president is certainly not his own man at all, and definitely not being his own man on this issue. We need to protect the young people, protect the young women of this country, and the approach adopted by the government so far falls woefully short of what could be expected and is reasonably to be understood in these circumstances.
The young lady would have allegedly denied the allegation. What next since that we know?
You see, that is what my point I was making just now. The question of the denial is irrelevant as far as I'm concerned. Because in the context of what is happening, this is an ongoing matter that is constantly unfolding. I saw public reports which indicate that the Child Protection Agency would have examined this matter, would have spoken to the young lady, and the lady would have then again recanted and go back to her original statement. That shows the degree of pressure that is being brought to bear. That shows the need for fair and impartial investigation, not by the Guyana Police Force at all.
Again, folks, that is Senior Counsel Roysdale Ford we were listening to there, highlighting some of the issues that are part of this grave and these damning allegations. You know, Ali wants Damlal to go. Irfan wants him to stay. Abna Babna, ABC, Oceans Potions. You know, and again, folks are saying the inaction of this administration, so it cost them a lot of problems. So let them continue. Let them continue their inactions. Alan Gulsuran, a man who understands the issues of accountability and good governance, understands it. Like few other guys, and he's studied this area. He's an accountant, extraordinaire, not political in any way. And over the weekend, in his column in Sabbath News, Accountability Watch, he says the president needs to take a leaf out of the book of former Trinidad and Tobago Prime Minister Prasad Besessa, Kamala Prasad Besessa. She'd fired a number of our ministers. Soon you slip up, you're gone. Soon as you slip up, you're gone. And part of what Gulsuran called for over the weekend is that there is a code of conduct that is supposed to be enforced by the Integrity Commission, and calling on the Integrity Commission to do their own investigation. But you see, when you got so many institutions that are compromised, nobody move in unless they get a call from Shipton Ranch and Paul Drive. Unless you get a call from HQ, nobody can budge. You just take a leaf out of Kamala book. Take a leaf. And I remember vividly, one of her ministers had an altercation with a stewardess on an airplane. I think he was flying back to Trinidad from some overseas assignment. And like he was very, very rude and obdurate. He's gone, you know. It's gone just like that. He didn't know when he was upbraiding the stewardess. That was the last day of the work. By the time he landed, gone. You got to hold public officials by a higher standard. By a higher standard. But the ethnic divide in this country is so wide. Right? That's a big problem that we got to solve, we got to talk about, and we got to solve. All of us must turn our face against corruption. All of us must turn our face against wrongdoing, whether we vote for them or not. And I feel strongly, if we vote for people, you believe your government is in power, but they're doing wrong, you have a greater responsibility to hold them accountable. You have a greater responsibility not to bury your head in the sand. Hold them accountable. Gulsuran, Dr. Aaron Gulsuran, he says we got to take a page out of Kamala Prasad Besessa book. Right? Take a page. You can't waver. One day you're strong on good governance, next day, what's to come to do? You can't get 10 different standards of accountability, of transparency. You can't get one standard. And then we saw Ralph Ramkaran also writing for Starbuck News. Conversation 3, there's a column. He says the boys between a rock and a hard place. He says they are between a rock and a hard place, but I gotta act. have to act. You can't, there's no time for vacillating. It's a time for action. And the longer they take to respond, even worse for them. The longer they take, the worse it is. Gotta act. And you ain't got too many roads to go down, you know. It's one road you got to follow. Right? One road you have to follow. Hear what Sabbath News says in this article, looking at both issues of what Ram Karan said and what Gulcharan said. Right? In larger countries with developed standards, we got a code of conduct. Much less serious accusations, much less serious accusations result in resignations. An allegation of rape would certainly have resulted in a resignation. And this is Ralph Ram Karan in his column, according to Sabbath News. And Ralph Ram Karan is a former Speaker of the National Assembly as well, attorney at law. An allegation of rape would have certainly resulted in a resignation. But if Minister Dharmlal remains on administrative leave, what happens if he is charged and is committed by way of a preliminary inquiry to trial at the High Court before a judge and jury? Such a trial will take a few years to be brought up for hearing. Having regard to the backlog of cases, would Minister Dharmlal be retained as a minister of the government on administrative leave for years until the trial or until there are elections? Will they hold on to him with rape charges to his name? That's Ram Karan asking. If the PUP returns to office, would he be reappointed and once again placed on administrative leave? It's madness. And what will the PUP say to the Amerindian electorate? Bearing in mind, it's an indigenous student who is alleging being raped and sodomized by Minister Nigel Dharmlal. What will the PUP say to the Amerindian electorate? Ram Karan asking these questions. Right? What would they say to the Amerindian electorate from which it obtains a critical portion of its support in its election campaign? What are you going to tell our indigenous brothers and sisters? We care about you. We care. Until it's one of your own. Then we can see how we really care. And finally, right, as he explores scenarios of what could be possible outcomes, Ram Karan said, these are several conundrums. You wouldn't say, that's to put it lightly. Several conundrums place the government between a rock and the hard place. Several conundrums place the government between a rock and a hard place. I would say between rocks and hard places. And finally it says here, again, this is Ralph Ram Karan, former Speaker of the National Assembly, attorney at law. And he also advises the government on border matters, I believe. It is unlikely that these matters have engaged the president. It is unlikely that these matters have engaged the president. These scenarios, these conundrums. Most likely, considerations would not have moved beyond the tense awaiting the decision of the Director of Public Prosecutions. You know, the file is with the Director. On what advice to give the police. If the advice is that no offense is disclosed, that will be the end of the matter legally, says Ram Karan. But would it be the end politically? Of course not. Would it be the end politically? We can answer that no. Right? Would Minister Darren Lal be returning to his post if the DPP finds there is no offense to be tried here? Would he still be returning to office? So those are some of the conundrums Ram Karan pointed out in his column. Rock and a hard place. Right? This is going to bedevil them for the longest while. And you see, as more young women come forward and say, you know, make their own allegations, problems. See, you go down the road. Go down the road in that manner. Charlene Juice tell you it's stinking dirty. Go down the road in that manner. Speaking truth to power. Right? You go down the road in that manner. Lorraine Walcott, right? Our colleague joining us on YouTube says the PP will never act until Guyanese citizens stand up for righteousness, regardless of political party, and value their freedom. Right? Value it. Rightly said. Rightly said. You know, last weekend we caught up, I think it was on Friday last, with MP Tabitha Sarabo Halley, and she herself had some views on this matter. How the quiet and the silent in the PPP. Inaction. Continue. Continue. Folks, take a look. Take a listen. MP Tabitha Sarabo Halley.
Well, right now today's Friday. We've been out here for a week now. And as far as I'm concerned, the government is very silent. The president is very silent as to where the government stands on this matter. I know that there's the police, and so they're doing their investigations. But based on the allegations, for less in other parts of the world, the minister would have been fired. For less in other parts of the world, the minister would have been asked to pack his bags and leave the ministry. But here in Guyana, I think it's almost as if the government is hoping and waiting and praying that the girl that was brave enough to come forward recant her story so they can go on the mountain and say, well, you see, he wasn't charged with anything, so he can remain there. And I think as a society, we have to expect and demand more of our leaders. We have to expect and demand more of those who decide and choose to hold high office, and who it is that we elect to hold high office. Because when it comes to matters of this nature, and matters such as rape, abuse, using your office, and if it is that you look at what the young lady said happened, and the fact that he used state resources to go through these processes and to attack the young girls in a lot of these villages and these communities. And so I think as a society, we need to do more, we need to demand more, and we have to expect higher and more of our elected officials. And the one way of doing that is to show that you are against what you have heard thus far, and by showing that is by coming out here and protesting what has happened and the way in which the government has chosen to be silent on the matter.
Thank you very much.
Yep. We were informing you there of what our colleague Tabitha Sarabo Halley said just last week, folks. And I'm advising those protest action are continuing. If you haven't had a chance yet to go out there and voice your concerns, you should. You should. Hold up a placard if you can. Lift your voices if you can. You can stand also quietly in the background and just allow your presence to be felt. That on this issue here, this is one for the books. Right? Where did you stand? Where did you stand on this issue? And here, fun like they say, where were you in 2020 when X and Y was being done or said? This is a defining moment. Where you're standing on it, right? For the sake of party, some of you can stay backing this jerk. Where are you on it? You got to answer that for yourself. You got to answer that for yourself. But of course, the chorus is only growing louder and louder out there. Louder and louder on this particular issue. on this particular issue, folks. We want to turn our attention now to some of the other stuff we're tracking, somewhat we're following internationally, somewhat we're following in the region, Latin America into the Caribbean, and some of what we're following, some additional issues we're following in the 592. Some of that. What happened over the weekend, folks? I thought we were going to see some drastic changes in Europe and so on. What happened over the? I'm still trying to come to terms. You know, depending on folks like Ronald Austin Jr. and people who understand international relations better than I do. You know, to help us to understand what's happening here, right? With Yevgeny Prigozhin, the mercenary boss there in Russia, and Putin. You all saw those convoys heading to Moscow over the weekend. I was in disbelief. I couldn't believe I was watching what I'm watching. It really and truly has given a different perspective on Russia, the power players in Russia, and I think some serious and lasting damage to Putin and his reputation, this strong man. Well, some people are arguing that the whole thing was staged. Y'all saw that, folks? Some people are arguing that the whole thing was staged. I don't know about that so much. The whole thing was staged, but that was some drama playing out on the international stage. Right? With Yevgeny Prigozhin. And people say a lot of heads. Could you imagine? I heard a Putin statement early in the day. Oh, this is treason and they'll be dealt with and stabbed in the back. By afternoon, I forgive you. This reminded me so much of Jack Dio and Sue. Putin was there on the world stage. This is a stab in the back. We're going to deal with them. Right? This is treason. These are traitors. By afternoon, I forgive Prigozhin. He can go on a little vacation to Belarus, and we can see how this leads. And them soldiers, no harm will come to them, no prosecution. Folks, this is badness. This is badness. You know, David Rudder, who has retired now, famous lyricist and singer there in Trinidad and Tobago. There's a line in one of his songs. This is not a veterinary, it's madness. This is it. This is it. It's madness. It's madness. Same thing. You see, Jack Dio study under them boys, you know, Russian train. You remember Jack Dio running out? Oh, this is an incalculable damage to my reputation and all of that. If he and prosecuting Sue, right? Isn't he enforcing all of what we believe to be true about that whole scenario there? He said he's going to throw out Sue. He's going to sue him, suing Sue and all of that. 1 year later, I forgive he. I forgive he. Right? But people who do less than that, you got them through the court. You got them through the court. And y'all talk about good governance. Veronica, Kyle, and so, they want to talk about good governance. What happened over the weekend? June Cameron says Jack Dio wants to be Putin. I doubt you. I don't doubt you. He's going to prosecute Sue to the fullest extent of the law. Right? I will prosecute, I will do this. We will deport him. Strip him of whatever citizenship and rights he has locally. 1 year later. 1 year later. What happened to Sue? Right. Well, listen, this is the most serious threat you've had to Putin's regime in a long time, Prigozhin, after a long time. I was in disbelief still. Was this real? Did I dream? Y'all saw this too, right? Just let me make sure. But I might be dreaming right now. That we had this conversation. Y'all saw this unfolding too, right? My head into Belarus. Right. Some of the reports did state, however, I'm inclined to tell you, that Putin fly out during the course of this imbroglio, and at least the Daily Mail in the UK reporting that Putin flew out, they say, 2 presidential planes linked to Vladimir Putin, this is according to the Daily Mail in the UK, flew out of Moscow towards Tver and St. Petersburg before switching off their transponders, according to reports, as the Wagner Group marched through Russia. The jets carry top Kremlin officials, including the Russian president. Other business planes were also seen making an exodus from the capital towards St. Petersburg. Right? And they go on to say that earlier, there were reports from Ukrainian intelligence indicating Putin had left from Moscow by helicopter for his palace in, Vladai or Valdi, between Moscow and St. Petersburg. So they said Putin was running away, basically. That's what the Daily Mail is indicated here, that they were running, flying out, because these troops, these regiments, these tanks and other vehicles were heading to Moscow. And all of that was playing out in real time. You know, the light one says it's rumors, Western rumors. Folks, we're just telling you what we've heard. It's up to you. You know, you always bring people, y'all can do your homework too. We're just telling you what we heard around these parts. What we heard around these parts. Again, they're telling us that the world economy that's coming out to the people who know is at a critical juncture in inflation fight. This is the central bank in Guyana. They're warning this. Right? Central bank in Guyana, that the world economy is at a critical juncture. What are we really trying to say? Let's break it down for you. Let's break it. At that wedding yesterday, I had to break it down for some folks. There were 2 folks who sang to the bride and groom, these young people. She wears my ring to show the world she's mine. You know that old tune? Younger folks don't understand it. The mastery of such truth. I had to break it down. You break it down, I let them know. What they were saying is, if you like this thing, put a ring on it. That's what they really say. Things getting tight. That is what Central Bank, that is Central Bank of Guyana telling us. All this world economy at critical junction, inflation fight. That is the warning. Things are getting tougher. Things tight. And they will continue to do so into the foreseeable future. That's what they're telling us. And that graphic was placed, that graphic should have been in the 592, but our apologies there. But we can deal with it. Things tight at home. Regionally, folks, Honduras got own problems. Curfew and all. You know, quite a few dead bodies in Honduras. They got their own political instability there. Watching that, night of violence, 22 dead in Honduras. Got a lot of political problems there as well. We're following. In Trinidad, today's nomination day. Yep, today, Monday, the 26th day of June, they go to the polls on August 14th. Local government elections. Local government elections there in Trinidad. And one of the features we see, a lot of people crossing the floor from the opposition, the United National Congress, UNC, to the People's National Movement, PNM. A lot of the folks crossing the floor there. And at its own campaign launch over the weekend, the PNM said that, you know, they're the only party in Trinidad that improves the lives of Trinidadians. Right? as they unveiled 141 local government elections candidates. Right? 141 LG candidates. The opposition says that tonight is going to be their launch of their local government campaign, and they're going to unleash their candidates as well. Right? 141 candidates for local government from the incumbent People's National Movement. And again, a lot of folks moving from the PNM over to from the UNC rather, moving from the UNC over to the PNM. And just over the weekend, as the list was being prepared, you had resignations coming out of the UNC. Right? And some of those defectors that they're saying, there's some of the headlines we're seeing in Trinidad, they're going to be on the slate for the People's National Movement, the PNM. Some of those defectors are on the slate. That's some of the things we're following, folks, in Trinidad and Tobago. Some of the things we're following around the region. Nomination day. Trinidad, social media influencer, TikTok personality was shot and killed. People are still trying to find out why. And this was in the Trin City Mall. Did I get it right there? Area. The persons were coming and going as he was shot in the mall parking lot. And he made famous, wrote a ballad, Miss Gripey, I think it is, that earned him fame. And this is popular social media personality, Kevon Yank Boss Solomon, murdered in the car park of Trin City Mall Sunday evening. They said he was driving a blue Chevy Cruze in the mall car park when he was attacked by a gunman who shot at his car. Solomon was hit several times and the car crashed into a parking barrier and another parked vehicle, where he went unconscious. He succumbed to his gunshot wounds while still in the driver's seat and was pronounced dead on the scene by the district medical officer. Thoughts and prayers go to Kevon Young Boss Solomon, friends and family. Thoughts and prayers go to them. Yep. Made famous on TikTok. Some of the issues we're following at home, folks, as we wrap up. Sean of Fortune says, set up. GT Kabaka, we see you there. GT Kabaka says that not too much of a distinction between Trinidad and Jamaica. Crime is terrible. Yep. Gotta arrest that. The CCJ offered some opinions on how we can clear our backlog of cases. They said these jury trials tend to be lengthy. Jury of your peers hinting at judge-only trials, saying this might help to clear the backlog. Judge-only, jury and back and forth and mistrial and all that. Jury, judge alone. So what they told us. And this is something, right? You can see some oxymorons here. Kanu officer arrested. I thought they do the arresting. Kanu officers arrested after allegedly stealing diamonds from a detained Surinamese. Now the report says that this particular officer swallowed one of the diamonds. This is why I can behave a little while. Garrett too sweet. Garrett likes bad. In my Jerry voice. Garrett likes bad. Kanu officers detained for allegedly stealing diamonds from detained Surinamese. We saw reports that the fella swallowed one of the diamonds. Gotta do better. You understand why people got little confidence in law enforcement? Too much corruption in law enforcement. People don't trust the law. Fighting this young lady, 16 years old, who is making these damning allegations against Nigel Darlal. Didn't bother to go to them. Huh? Big money pass, you matter done with. People have a healthy distrust of law enforcement in this country. And it's instances like this that leads them down that road. Instances like that. Maibukuri, Region 6, it is. One of the pupils are missing from the primary school there. Maibukuri primary pupil missing. Tejmati Bassoon. Folks, if you see Tejmati anywhere, let's help get her home to her parents. Right? She's been missing since Friday morning, Friday last. Bassoon resided with her family at Lot 5, Maibukuri, South, Blackbush, Poland, the quarantine, and was last seen by her brother, who dropped her off to school on Friday morning. A family member said, this is according to Starbuck News, a family member said that she was reported missing around 8:30 by teachers at the school, who said that Bassoon was last seen going into a vehicle, which then drove off. The family member opined that it could have been a relative who took her, and the police are currently trying to locate the person. So Tejmati Bassoon, 10 years old, is reported as missing. So folks, if you see Tejmati any place, please get in touch with law enforcement ASAP. Let's get her back to her family. So that's some of what we're following, good folks, this morning. Some of what we are following this morning. Finally, folks, is it finally? I think we're almost there. They're telling us that 2 years after the emergency medical services legislation was introduced, right? Like things have gone cold. Well, them boys got a lot to deal with, Coming to Parliament and, doing the business of the people, don't rate too high. Every time we have a new session, a new sitting of the National Assembly, a new session, like we're going to go into recess in August, come back in October. They can come back saying, oh, robust legislative agenda, and all of that. And then you wonder, whatever happened to the EMS legislation? Whatever happened to it? Gone by the wayside. Folks, we're still wrapping up where local government elections 2023 is concerned, while places like Trinidad and other places in the region now heading to local government elections. I think Antigua is one of those places as well, Antigua and Barbuda, heading to the polls. We're now wrapping up. Still waiting for valid, credible results out of GCOM. Still holding. We're still in a holding pattern. Still. And there's so many headlines in today's papers where LG is concerned, Damn well come and wash out whatever, they were hoping to do with their narrative that, this history and all the NDCs and the win and the municipalities and all that. Damn well never got time and place. So they're struggling to come back with that kind of narrative. But there are other things that happen, in this local government election that I don't want to tell you about. Like how this simple block maker beat him up in Cummins Lodge North. They don't want to talk about that. Right? They don't want to tell you about that. No. This is a make press conference. All they can talk about is what they win. Simple. They say cement block maker Jeffoon Mohammed, who ran for APNU, won his constituency, Cummins Lodge North, Central and South, Patterson and Turkine. His focus, he says, is going to be mostly on youth employment in the community. He's a concrete block maker. He wants to focus on youth employment. Right? They had that seat. They had it. So much for that. Right? Look how they're making inroads there. Remember that was a big thing? All the inroads that they're making. Roads and inroads. How they're going for us? How they're going for us? Folks, stay woke this week. A lot of events you can see happening. A lot of movement. You know, movement is not the same as progress. Movement is not the same as progress. Stay focused this week. Stay with your eyes on the prize this week. Hold a focus this week. Hold a focus this week, good folks. Leslie Thompson and Andrew Griffith. Out front parts. Florette Jacobs Ward. Fidel Albert. Is it New Bayans? N-U-E. Is that new? B-I-A-N-S. Is it Bayans? Good morning to each and every one of you. Sabrina Blue, all the Blues are here. Thank you guys for joining our program this morning. Thank you guys so much. That's going to do it for us at this end. Folks, we're coming down to the end of the month. And this is how we fund our broadcast. And we're asking you folks to be part of that. This is how we keep going. Program after program, week after week, month after month. Because of your love, your generosity, this is how we do it. Thank you for your support in this regard. We're available via Cash App and Zelle and PayPal, MMG, MoneyGram, and Western Union as well. You have any queries? You have some information? You even have a story for us? 627-6963. 627-6963. This is how we do it, good folks. And this is going to do it for us at this end until our next broadcast. Thanks for joining us. It's been a privilege. It has been a privilege, good folks. As you go, before you go, share the live and smash that emoji button. Those of you who are going to be coming back to watch the broadcast, share the live and smash that emoji button as well, good folks, as well. It's been a privilege being here with you for the last hour or so. Thanks for joining us. Stay safe, guys. Stay safe out there. Stay safe. Stay safe.